So today I'm going to do something that Pokemon Company, if you're watching, please forgive me. Hey, there's no problems with the graphical issues in Ba Sing Se. But I gotta talk about the world of Pokemon right now, because I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence about a number of things. There are certain shots in the latest Scarlet and Violet trailer that I think are gorgeous. There are certain Pokemon that I think are beautiful, and then there are other shots that are upsetting me a little bit. And listen, I don't want to open the whole can of worms on like whether graphics make or break a game. I don't think they do at all. I think graphics are a nice addition, and certainly what I'm looking for mostly is gameplay. But I have been thinking a lot about the visual style of Pokemon, and you know, I've been playing Pokemon since the beginning, so I've got to see an entire range of different Pokemon and what they look like in different games. Actually, specifically the shot that got me thinking about this in Game Freak, this is the one you might want to look into fixing, is the unreal level of anti-aliasing, or regular aliasing, sorry, I should say. Oh, I think that's what it's called. I'm not a game dev. That is appearing in these shots here. See all this motion up here? Hang on, I'm going to play that back at 0.25 times speed. Just have a look. I'm giving you the watch time, Pokemon, okay? So please, you know, forgive me getting that watch time in. Look at the motion that's happening here. And again, the motion up here, because there's so many objects up here, it's actually kind of distracting. This is the first place my eyes end up looking. I don't even realize what's going on in the shot. Oh, it's a character running away because I'm so busy looking at this. And you might think, you're being really pedantic, this isn't a problem. And we must remember the age-old saying, game footage is not final. Although, that said, these trailers don't say that, which is worrying me a little bit because some of the shots I don't think look as good as some of the others. Now, to Pokemon's credit, let's talk about this trailer here. They did this trailer a couple weeks back, and just, wow, look at that. Look at the Arcanine, look at the Growlithe, look at the grass, look at the textures. Everything there is working for me. Is it the best looking grass that you've ever seen in a video game? No, it's not The Last of Us 2. It's not, you know, it doesn't need to be that. But the Pokemon look great. The Pokemon look great. They look organic. You know, the Whoopers look slimy. The Magnemites look like made of metal. The Arboks, you can see the scales. I guess I want to ask the question today, and this is really what I want to ask of you a little bit to let me know in the comments, rather than getting into a big argument about whether the Pokemon Company should or shouldn't have invested more money or hired more people or have better I don't care. That's not. I'm going to buy the game. I'm going to enjoy the game, I'm sure, no matter what. What I want to instead ask you and invite you to think about is, what's the end goal? What is the end goal for 3D Pokemon? Because I can, and I'm going to come back to these pages in a little bit. This is not it, right? Oh, you can't even see. Hang on. This is not it. This is not the end goal for 3D Pokemon on console, right? This isn't what we're looking for 15 years down the line. This is Detective Pikachu, and by the way, for Detective Pikachu, I thought the real-life Pokemon looked really, really great. I think it works for a movie. Don't think it works for a game. I do not need this in a game. You know? It's cool to see them like that, though. It really, really was. But I don't need them looking like that. I don't need that level of detail, and I don't need them to feel that real. I need the world to feel real when I am transported to it. I don't necessarily need the Pokemon to be actually realized, but it was cool to finally get to see that. But there are other games on the Switch that I think are pretty good. Like, we've got, obviously, Smash Bros. Obviously, this is a pre-rendered cutscene, but we're working in imaginary land where we can have whatever we want, right? And yeah, I think this looks really nice. This Charizard feels really dynamic, and you can see, like, the shading looks great across it. That looks like a dragon. That looks like a living, you know, dragon, and it makes sense for the world it's in. The other ones you've got is, obviously, you've got Pokemon, where I think it's a little bit more angular, is it? I don't know, that's probably not the way to describe it, but you can really see the fur on the tail of Lucario. You can really see the pattern inside of Charizard's wing. I think within the next couple of generations, and you're going to say, oh, but it's already in a Pokemon game. But you have to remember, of course, that Pokemon Tournament is dealing with a fraction of the amount of Pokemon in very controlled environments. Actually, like Mimikyu, look at that. Look at the little cheek. Look how cool that looks. Obviously, my ultimate, or what I think is the peak for 3D Pokemon is, this is a gameplay by Munching Orange. is the Pokemon and new Pokemon Snap. I think they look phenomenal. They still have a little bit of jaggedy around the edges, but I think they look great. I think the birds look feathery, the Bouffalants look fluffy. The closer you get, the more detail you can really see, and it feels alive. But obviously, you're on a track witnessing a sort of pre-decided group of Pokemon. To get this to the scale of a full game, given that this game came out like 2 years ago, yeah, it's probably years off. This might be Gen 10. Fingers crossed. Wouldn't it be cool if Gen 10 looked this cool? But then there's the next question is like, where do you go from there? Right? Where do you go from there? Now, listen, I was obviously, like I say, I've been playing Pokemon games since Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. So I'm quite nostalgic for the sprite art in particular of Yellow, but I can admit sprite art of Red and Blue didn't look the best. And I saw every generation of sprite art really as an improvement up from Gens 2, 3, 4, and 5. I think the sprite art in Gen 5 looks fantastic. At that point, the Nintendo 3DS was out. There was no way that Pokemon wasn't going to transition to 3D. And at that time, remember that Pokemon only existed on the handheld console. It didn't, in order to have it on the big screen, there were 3D games. There was Colosseum, Gale of Darkness, Pokemon Battle Revolution. The need for 3D felt like a novelty, that it was super cool that some games would do it. But it wasn't the expectation of the main series. The moment Pokemon X and Y happened, I mean, you could not have convinced me that moving 3D would be a artistic mistake in any way, or that it wasn't the right thing to do and try. I think it has been the right thing to do and try. What became apparent, unfortunately, is because Nintendo have been developing on a handheld system up until the release of the Switch, primarily with their Pokemon games, Pokemon X and Y, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, Oras, whereas the rest of the gaming industry has been playing with 3D, on main console. There haven't been other handheld competitors outside of, like, mobile games, and mobiles are, phenomenally powerful. The computer's in your pocket. All this is to say that Pokemon was definitely at some level of disadvantage on this front. And again, you can make whatever arguments you want about money and stuff. I like the idea of using your creative passion when you think a company should do something, to, yes, give feedback and give criticism, as I am gently doing now for the Pokemon company, but also to like, go make something cool. Like, I think it's really easy to sit back and armchair CEO a company and sort of like, yeah, if they just did this, I'm not even going to begin to pretend that I understand the ins and outs of running a game company, of the monetary system within the Pokemon company that is spread out across so many different departments: TCG, the figurines, the clothing, the merch, the events that they run, the games. The idea of, like, all of that money returning into the games, you can sit here and go, oh yeah, absolutely should. But if Game Freak, if Creatures Inc., is Creatures Inc. still going? If Game Freak, if the Pokemon company, if they're happy with what they're putting in, like, at the end of the day, that's their process to make the game they want. And if you don't like it, don't buy it. That's the kind of net result of that. And I get the frustration of, like, it's part of the problem, Toby, because, you're in the way of progress. But that's the progress that you want. Do I want the games to look better? Yes. Do I think they'll get there? Yes. One day, I think we will get Pokemon games that the main series looks as good as Pokemon Snap. I would be highly disappointed if we didn't. I think that is where it is going. I think it makes sense that Pokemon aren't there yet. That checks out to me. But where does it go from here? And this is where I would invite Pokemon to really think, because you did 5 generations with sprite arts Pokemon. You did 5 generations of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow up through Black and White 2. And that was constant improvement the whole way up. And then the decision was made, the jump, let's move to 3D. And yeah, constant improvement the whole way up from X and Y to where we are now. Once Gen 10 happens and we've had a Pokemon game that looks as good as this, though, or that maybe could look as good as, like, Smash Bros, where all of the Pokemon look that good, all the environments look that good. Cool. There's not a lot of room for progression after that. My want or invitation to Pokemon would be to consider other artistic styles. I've seen a lot of like, okay, so like my game of the year right now is this game called Tunic. If you don't know what Tunic is, by the way, download. Just this is it's a indie game that's just like absolutely fantastic, and I think this game is beautiful. I think it's absolutely stunning. And you could say, oh, it's chibi. It's kind of like Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. I think this is better executed in the delivery of the overworld and how it looks. How like you know, the beautiful bokeh effect in the background as it's out of focus, and you know, like everything here just really works for me visually, personally. But maybe this isn't your thing. You know, maybe go back to sprite arts, right? I've seen a lot of people, my housemate Dan is always talking about how they should really go back to something like this with Octopath Traveler, where you've got your kind of sprite overworld. And I would be very okay, very comfortable with them recreating the sprite art of, you know, whether it's Generation 5, Generation 3, Generation 1 even. I've seen a lot of tweets of this kind of thing. I've seen a lot of like, there's this person on Twitter who makes these like little videos of like, if you took the old Ken Sugimori art style, and it definitely brings about a certain mood that I would be nostalgic for. Whether it would be popular with modern day audiences, I don't know, but I personally really like this. Like, I think this is an incredibly positive direction to move that makes the Pokemon feel alive and to have a lot of personality, but I don't necessarily think it's the correct way to go. I may be very nostalgia biased for something like this, but I also saw like there's this thing came up on Twitter this morning, a sort of 3D rendering of Goldenrod City, or what I assume is Goldenrod City. Actually, it might not be. It's just actually a random city, I think. And I think stuff like this looks absolutely stunning. I think stuff like this, yeah, this isn't Goldenrod, it just evokes that same feeling. I think stuff like this is beautiful, and I would love to see Pokemon. You're going to nail 3D. In the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to absolutely nail it, and it's going to look stunning. And obviously, I would love to have been sooner. That's not the reason alone, though, that I'm going to buy the game. I enjoy it. I enjoy exploring the lore of the Pokemon world. I wish you got there sooner. Of course I do. Of course I do. I'm never going to argue for like, oh yes, I'm happy that it took them a long time to get to the level of 3D graphical art and visual style that I want. But I would invite Pokemon in its spin-offs going forward, in its side games, to explore these art styles, to explore what the fandom is asking, to explore different ways of showing off Pokemon, and us interacting with the world. I think we've seen a little bit of that with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. My issue is actually that with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl in particular is that it did not lean into it correctly. Like, I think having the battles where in battle they look like full-scale human people, but then they're the chibi in the overworld, that didn't make sense to me. That disconnection between the two. Plus, I think BDSP had lots of other issues in terms of like the battle animations every time you enter the battle and they jump. But this isn't a review of BDSP, though I'm going to do a video on that in the near future. Not like a review, just like missed opportunities. I don't need this. I don't need Pokemon to become this. And it'll be cool to see it become this in a couple of years' time. It would obviously be awesome if it was like this throughout the main franchise all the time now. Obviously, that would be seriously, seriously cool. And I am filled with a lot of hope when I see stuff like this. That, to me, looks fantastic. That, to me, looks as good as I want it to look, right? But then there are other shots in this trailer or in subsequent trailers that even come out since here. Actually, in fact, I'm just going to show you, like, personally, I think Grafaiai in this reveal trailer for it. Oh,
I've traveled. Not
this one. This is a very cool animation. But in this one, I mean, I don't know about you. Like, I don't think the Grafaiai looks good. There's all the jaggedy around it in the wider shots. This does not look. This to me does not look like any of these Pokemon. My hope is that this is representative of the game we're gonna get, and that this is representative of a work in progress. I still firmly believe that since Pokemon X and Y, Pokemon's relationship 3D models and to animations and to textures in particular, they're really nailing, has moved forward a lot. It's still not quite where I want it to be. It's not quite there yet. Those Mareep look great. Those Mareep look great. But there's still a couple elements missing. Maybe you in the comments can better put your finger on what those elements are than me. Because I watched this trailer today and like the jaggedy line, like I found there was so much going on the screen, and maybe it's because they zoom in a lot in the trailer so that everything becomes hyper detailed, but like all of this stuff, all of the jaggedy around the edges of all this looks to me not good. And it worries me a little bit because I think the Scarlet and Violet latest trailer at its best looks fantastic, but at its worst, I'm not vibing with it. And I want to put that out there now because Pokemon, you know, I'm a huge fan. I think the Houndour looks really great. I think the Makuhita and Arcaria look really great. There is a lot to like here. I'm excited, but I'm a little bit nervous. And I just hope this is something being worked on and developed. And I can't wait to see, of course, the final version of the game. Thank you for listening to my ramble. I will ask at this point, and I probably should have asked at the beginning of the video, not 16 minutes in, to be respectful to one another in the comments, because I know this is a topic that can get people heated. And hey, look, Pokemon is the biggest grossing media franchise in the world. Therefore, the widest range of opinions possible exists. So I'm not going to get too upset if I see people in the comments massively disagreeing with me. I would like to read those comments, though, and if you have a differing opinion, I'd like to really understand it, you know, rather than just, you know, you either saying graphics don't matter, you're just making a problem out of nothing, or whether you're on the side of the other extreme, which is like, you shill, there is no graphical issues in Ba Sing Se, you say, yeah, you know where your bread is buttered. When the fact of the matter is like, I always disclose when I work for Pokemon. This video is not one of those videos. So yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts respectfully in the comments and hear your varying opinions. I have a feeling this is a video that maybe will make no one happy, but I just wanted to say my piece. Yeah, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet looking good. Hoping it's going to look better by the time it's out. Fingers crossed for the future. Invitation for thought about what kind of art styles you think might suit it in the future. So hi, Pokemon Masters.
This is Ash Ketchum. You just watched a video by Birdkeeper Toby. That makes you a Pokemon Master.
A huge thank you to my Patreons who make this channel and Cardkeeper Toby possible. And a huge shout out to the big patrons of this month, Michael Hornshoe, The L Gator, Jedruben, and NavyBlueSuicune. Thank you.